There is a moment in life when you realize something shocking. Most of the pain you feel does not come from the world. It comes from your reaction to the world. And Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said something that can transform your entire life. You cannot control external events, but you can control your mind, and that is where your power begins. If lately you've felt overwhelmed, if people drain your energy, if problems disturb your peace, then this video is for you. Because today, you will discover 10 Stoic principles that will make you emotionally unshakable, so that nothing and no one can break your inner stability again. Stoicism is not about being cold or emotionless. It is about mastering your reactions, your perception, and your inner state. It teaches you to build a mindset so solid that life's storms cannot move you. Epictetus, once a slave who became a legendary teacher of inner freedom, left us principles that can completely restructure how you think, how you act, and how you protect your peace. In this video, we will explore these principles in depth. Each one is simple, but when you truly live them, they become weapons against stress, fear, negativity, and emotional chaos. By the end of this video, you will understand something essential. Your peace is not given by the world. Your peace is built, step by step, from the inside. Let's begin with principle number 1. Principle 1, focus only on what you can control. One of the most powerful teachings of Epictetus is astonishingly simple, yet life-changing. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. If you truly understand this idea, not just intellectually, but deeply, emotionally, you will free yourself from 80% of the suffering you carry today. Think about how much energy you lose worrying about things you can't influence. What others think of you. How someone behaves. What life decides to take away from you. The past that you cannot rewrite. And the future that you cannot predict. Epictetus says, these things do not belong to you. They are external. They are outside your circle of control. And when you try to control what is not yours, you create frustration, anger, disappointment, and fear. Your true power lies only in what belongs to your inner world. Your thoughts. Your choices. Your actions. Your attitude. Your effort. Your discipline. Your response to what happens. Once you make this distinction, a new form of freedom appears. Because you no longer spend your life trying to change people, events, or situations that were never yours to command. Instead, you take full responsibility for what depends entirely on you. Imagine 2 circles. Circle 1, what you can control, your mindset, your reactions, your habits, your words, your plans, your principles. Circle 2, what you cannot control, the weather, the news, the economy, other people's decisions, the timing of life, the outcome of events. Most people live in circle 2. Stoics live in circle 1. And ironically, once you stop obsessing over external events, you become far more effective. Because your energy is no longer scattered everywhere, it is focused, sharp, disciplined, directed. You stop complaining. You stop blaming. You stop expecting the world to act according to your wishes. The moment something happens, a Stoic asks one question. Is this under my control? If the answer is no, they let it go. If the answer is yes, they take action immediately. This principle protects your peace from being destroyed by every small inconvenience. A person insults you. You cannot control them, but you can control your reaction. A plan fails. You cannot control the outcome, but you can control how you adapt. Life becomes chaotic. You cannot control the storm, but you can control the captain. Real strength is not about controlling the world. Real strength is about controlling yourself within the world. And if you master this principle, truly master it, life will no longer throw you off balance. Because everything external becomes simply what it is. And everything internal becomes your domain, your battlefield, your victory. Once you protect your mind, nothing external can own you again. Now, let's go deeper. Let's explore Principle 2, which builds on this one and strengthens your emotional resilience even further. Principle 2, change your interpretation, not the event. Epictetus taught something that seems simple at first, but it can completely transform the way you experience life. People are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. It is not the event that hurts you. It is the story you attach to the event. Two people can go through the exact same situation. One collapses. The other becomes stronger. The difference is never the situation itself. It is the interpretation. An event is neutral. It has no emotion. It has no built-in meaning. It is your mind that gives it a label, a color, a weight. You lose an opportunity. Is it a tragedy? Or is it a redirection towards something better? Someone criticizes you. Is it an attack on your worth? Or a chance to practice emotional stability? A plan falls apart unexpectedly. Is it proof that nothing works for you? Or is it training for adaptability? Stoicism tells you this. You cannot choose what happens to you. But you can choose what it means. This ability, to reinterpret, is one of the strongest mental tools to protect your peace. Because it transforms every obstacle into raw material for growth. And here is the essential Stoic question. What else could this mean? When you ask this, you take back your power. You stop reacting blindly, and you start choosing consciously. Epictetus reminds us. Every obstacle is an opportunity to practice virtue. A delay becomes a lesson in patience. Criticism becomes a lesson in self-control. Loss becomes a lesson in detachment. Difficulty becomes a lesson in courage. Where most people see problems, a Stoic sees training grounds. If you want to reach a state where nothing can easily affect you, you must understand this truth. You cannot change the facts. But you can change the filter. The event is external. The interpretation is internal. And only the internal world is under your command. The world decides the situation. But you decide the story. And that story can either weaken you or empower you. When you learn to reinterpret events with wisdom instead of fear, your emotional life changes. What once triggered you becomes neutral. What once stressed you becomes manageable. What once shook you becomes irrelevant. Peace does not come from a perfect world. Peace comes from an interpretation that is calm, disciplined, and aligned with reason. This is how you stop being a prisoner of circumstances and start becoming the master of your inner life. Prepare for Principle 3, which will take your emotional resilience even further. Principle 3, you suffer more in imagination than in reality. One of the most striking truths in Stoic philosophy comes from Seneca, who said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Most of the pain you feel is not caused by life itself, but by the stories your mind invents before life even happens. Think about how many hours you've spent worrying about things that never occurred. How often you've imagined the worst possible outcome, only to realize later that the situation was not nearly as bad as you feared. The mind has the dangerous ability to turn a small uncertainty into a storm. A simple problem into a catastrophe. A minor issue into something overwhelming. Fear, anxiety, stress, these are usually not reactions to reality. They are reactions to your imagination trying to protect you from something that might never exist. The Stoics teach a powerful principle. Your mind creates more enemies than the world ever will. You imagine people judging you, when most people are too busy thinking about themselves. You imagine failure, when you haven't even taken the first step. You imagine rejection, loss, humiliation, long before anything happens. And this imagined suffering drains your energy, steals your peace, and weakens your ability to act. Epictetus said that the mind is like a storyteller. If you don't control the story controls you. So how does a Stoic deal with this? First, by recognizing that thoughts are not facts. A fearful thought is not a prophecy. A negative scenario is not destiny. It is only an image painted by your mind, and you can choose not to believe it. Second, a Stoic separates what is happening now from the nightmare created by imagination. The present moment is usually calm, manageable, concrete. It is the future, shaped by fear, that feels unbearable. When you bring your attention back to the present, you cut the power of imaginary suffering. Third, Stoics practice a technique called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. It sounds dark, but it is incredibly liberating. You briefly visualize what could go wrong, not to scare yourself, but to prepare your mind. To become familiar with the possibility. To reduce the shock if difficulties come. When you have calmly imagined adversity, you stop fearing it. Your brain stops treating it as a monster. And ironically, the thing you once feared becomes far less intimidating. But here is the crucial part. The exercise is not meant to make you anxious. It is meant to make you confident. Because once you accept that you could face hardship and still stand strong, you are no longer ruled by fear. A Stoic mindset says, I will not suffer twice, once in imagination and once in reality. If the event never happens, you've protected your peace. If it does happen, you're already mentally prepared. And that is why Stoics appear unshakable. They remove the unnecessary suffering that most people create for themselves. Reality is challenging, yes. But your imagination can be far harsher. When you master your mind, you reduce your suffering to what actually exists, not what your fear invents. True strength comes when you stop living inside the world of imaginary disasters and start living inside the present moment. Calm, aware, and in control. Principle 4, master your response, not the situation. One of the most liberating ideas in Stoicism is this. You cannot always control what happens, but you can always control how you respond. Your response is your power, your freedom, your inner weapon against chaos. Most people live in automatic mode. Something happens, they react instantly. Someone insults them, they get angry. A plan fails, they panic. Life becomes messy, they lose control. Their emotions dictate their actions. Their impulses decide their mood. They live as prisoners of circumstances. But the Stoic sees things differently. To a Stoic, the space between event and reaction is sacred. In that space lies wisdom, strength, and freedom. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is not just a quote, it is a way of living. You can't stop someone from behaving badly. You can't stop life from bringing setbacks. You can't stop unexpected events from shaking your plans. But you can choose your internal posture. You can choose calm over chaos. You can choose clarity over impulsiveness. You can choose dignity over emotional collapse. This principle becomes powerful the moment you realize the truth. No one can force you to feel or act a certain way, unless you give them permission. When someone tries to provoke you, your reaction decides who wins. Not their words. When life throws a problem at you, your response shapes the outcome. Not the problem itself. A Stoic response is intentional, deliberate, guided by reason and values. It means taking a breath before speaking. It means thinking before acting. It means refusing to let emotion decide your character. This is not weakness. It is discipline. It is mental strength at its highest form. The Stoics practiced this constantly. When they faced loss, they responded with acceptance. When they faced difficulty, they responded with courage. When they faced injustice, they responded with integrity. When they faced chaos, they responded with composure. And little by little, the world stopped having power over them. Because while others were reacting blindly, The Stoics were responding consciously. Here's the key. Your response creates your reality. Two people can experience the same event, yet live completely different emotional lives, because their internal response is different. A small problem can feel enormous if your reaction is weak. A large problem can feel manageable if your reaction is strong. Life becomes lighter not when you control everything, but when you control yourself in everything. A Stoic trains his mind every day to respond with calm instead of panic, patience instead of frustration, understanding instead of anger, thoughtfulness instead of impulse, strength instead of fear. By mastering your response, you reclaim your inner power. You stop being moved by every wave of life. You become solid, stable, grounded. And eventually, people begin to notice something about you. You are not shaken easily. You are not disturbed by noise. You are not pulled by emotional storms. Because you've learned what most people never realize. Situations don't define you, your response does. Principle 5, make discomfort your training ground. Stoicism teaches a truth that modern society tries hard to avoid. Comfort weakens you. Discomfort strengthens you. The more you escape discomfort, the more fragile you become. The more you face it, the more unbreakable you grow. Epictetus reminded his students that nothing great is built without resistance. Look at the world around you. Muscles grow through tension. Character grows through challenge. Wisdom grows through mistakes. Strength grows through adversity. Yet most people spend their entire lives running away from anything that feels difficult. Avoiding challenges. Seeking ease. Choosing the soft path. And then wondering why the smallest obstacle breaks them. A Stoic understands that life will test you whether you like it or not. So instead of avoiding discomfort, you train with it. This is why Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort. Waking up early. Doing what they feared. Taking cold baths. Walking long distances. Eating simple meals. Sleeping on the floor occasionally. Enduring criticism without reacting. Facing their weaknesses directly. Not because they enjoyed suffering, but because they wanted to build the inner strength that most people only discover when it's too late. The Stoic mindset is this. Let me train in difficulty now, so I am not destroyed by it later. If you cannot handle small discomforts, how will you handle life's big ones? If you can't sit with boredom, how will you sit with grief? If you avoid challenging conversations, how will you handle real conflict? If you avoid discipline, how will you build anything meaningful? Discomfort is not the enemy. It is the instructor that shapes you. And here is the secret. The discomfort you voluntarily choose makes you stronger. The discomfort you avoid makes you weaker. Every time you choose the harder path, you grow. You expand. You become sharper. You become more stable. You become more confident in your own ability to face life. And life feels less frightening because you've proven to yourself, again and again, that you can endure more than you think. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it's endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining." Why? Because endurance is not just surviving. It's transforming. A Stoic uses discomfort to sharpen their mind. Waking up early builds discipline. Physical training builds resilience. Fasting builds self-control. Silence builds clarity. Hard conversations build courage. Doing what you avoid builds strength. And slowly, discomfort stops feeling like pain and starts feeling like freedom. Because once you are no longer afraid of discomfort, the world loses its power to intimidate you. This is what makes Stoics different. They don't ask for an easier life. They ask for the strength to face life as it is. When you embrace discomfort as training, you stop expecting life to be gentle. Instead, you become the kind of person who can handle anything life brings. That is real power. That is real freedom. That is the foundation of an unshakable mind. Principle 6, detach from what you cannot keep. One of the deepest teachings in Stoicism is the understanding that everything is temporary: your possessions, your relationships, your youth, your status, your body, your opportunities, and even your life itself. Marcus Aurelius said, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." The purpose of this is not to make you sad, but to make you free. The more tightly you cling to what is temporary, the more you suffer when life inevitably changes. Life will take things from you. Time will remove people from your journey. Circumstances will shift without warning. Fortune will rise and fall. Everything you hold today is borrowed, not owned. Most of the pain humans experience comes from one source: attachment to things that were never meant to stay. A Stoic understands this, and instead of resisting change, they prepare for it. They embrace impermanence as a natural part of the world. This is why Epictetus said, "Never say about anything, 'I have lost it,' but instead, 'I have returned it.'" Your possessions, borrowed. Your successes, borrowed. The people you love, borrowed. Even your own body, borrowed. Understanding this does not make you love less. It makes you love more deeply. Because you stop taking anything for granted. Detachment is not coldness. It is clarity. It is loving fully without clinging. It is appreciating without demanding permanence. It is living without fear of loss. When you detach from what you cannot keep, you stop suffering over the natural flow of life. Imagine holding sand tightly in your fist. The tighter you squeeze, the more it escapes. But if you hold it gently, it rests in your palm without struggle. This is how a Stoic approaches life. With open hands, not clenched fists. Detachment gives you emotional freedom. When someone leaves, you let them go gracefully. When a plan fails, you adapt without collapsing. When fortune changes, you remain centered. When challenges arise, you face them without fear. When life brings endings, you accept them with dignity. Most people panic when change arrives because they believe things would stay the same forever. A Stoic never falls into that illusion. They know that every moment is temporary. So they take nothing for granted. This mindset removes unnecessary suffering. You stop trying to freeze life. You stop clinging to what must eventually pass. You stop resisting the inevitable. And slowly, you become lighter. You enjoy what you have while you have it. You release what leaves when it's time. You remain open to whatever life brings next. This is true strength. Not controlling life, but flowing with it. When you detach from what you cannot keep, you gain something far more valuable. Peace. A peace that no loss can destroy. A peace that no change can shake. A peace that comes from understanding the simple truth. Nothing is yours forever. But everything can be appreciated deeply, right now. Principle 7. Focus only on the present moment. One of the most repeated truths in Stoicism is this. The present moment is the only place where life actually happens. Not yesterday. Not tomorrow. Not one day. Only now. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." Why? Because almost all human suffering comes from abandoning the present moment. You feel anxiety when you live in the future. You feel regret when you live in the past. You feel peace only when you return to the present. The Stoics understood that the mind is constantly trying to escape the now. It wanders into fears, fantasies, memories, and projections. But this wandering mind weakens your clarity and steals your strength. When you focus on the present moment, you regain two powers. 1. Clarity. You see reality as it is, not as you imagine it. You stop reacting out of fear or assumption. You respond with reason, precision, and calm. 2. Control. The present is the only place where you can take action. You cannot act on tomorrow. You cannot change yesterday. You can only choose what you do right now. The Stoics offered techniques to return to the present. Technique 1, ask, what is in front of me right now? Not the story. Not the fear. Not the future scenario. Just the exact task you must do at this moment. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily. What is my duty right now? This removes overwhelm and replaces it with focus. Technique 2, break time into small pieces. When life feels heavy, divide it. Don't think about the whole journey, just the next step. Don't focus on everything you must do, just the next action. The Stoics taught that you can endure anything when experienced moment by moment. Technique 3, ground yourself in sensation. Feel your breath. Feel your hands. Feel your feet on the floor. This reconnects your mind with your body. And pulls you out of mental noise. Technique 4, speak to yourself calmly. Say, I am here. I am safe. I only need to deal with this moment. This simple reminder resets your nervous system. And brings your attention back to the present. Technique 5, let the future arrive on its own. Don't fight the future. Don't try to predict everything. Don't carry tomorrow's problems before they exist. The Stoics said, the future is not yours yet. Don't suffer it before it comes. By allowing the future to unfold naturally, you free yourself from imaginary fears. When you master presence, you master life. Why? Because the present moment is where you think clearly. The present moment is where you choose how to respond. The present moment is where you find peace. The present moment is where you build your character. A wandering mind is vulnerable. A present mind is powerful. This is what the Stoics teach. Return to the now. Live fully in the moment in front of you. Act with strength, clarity, and calm. Because nothing can truly affect you when your mind stands firmly in the present. Principle 8, train yourself to expect difficulties. One of the most practical Stoic teachings is this. Do not hope for an easy life. Train for a strong one. Epictetus said, when you are about to do something difficult, remember what you are training for. Most people are shocked by difficulties. They think obstacles are unfair. They believe challenges are interruptions. But the Stoics believed the opposite. Difficulties are part of the path. They are the training ground. They are the weight that makes you stronger. They are the fire that shapes your character. A boxer doesn't step into the ring expecting no punches. A sailor doesn't go to sea expecting no storms. A Stoic doesn't walk through life expecting no challenges. They prepare for difficulty. Not with fear, but with calm readiness. Technique 1, negative visualization, premeditatio malorum. The Stoics practiced imagining difficulties before they happened. Not to create fear, but to create strength. They asked themselves, what if I lose this? What if this person disappoints me? What if things go wrong? And then they answered calmly, I will handle it. I will adapt. I will remain steady. By imagining adversity, they became less vulnerable to it. Technique 2, treat challenges as training. Every difficult moment is a chance to practice something. Annoying people patience. Fear courage. Unexpected problems adaptability. Failure resilience. Uncertainty acceptance. Life becomes a gym for your character. Every challenge is a weight. Every reaction is a repetition. Every day is a training session. Technique 3, don't personalize problems. Most suffering comes from thinking, why is this happening to me? But life is not targeting you. Life simply happens. The Stoics said, do not see problems as punishments but as conditions of existence. When you stop taking adversity personally, you stop suffering twice. Technique 4, prepare your mind daily. Every morning, Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, you will meet selfish, angry, ungrateful, jealous, and inconsiderate people today. Why did he say this? Not to complain, but to prepare. When the mind expects difficulty, difficulty loses its power. Technique 5, build a mind that doesn't break. The goal is not to avoid challenges. It is to become the kind of person who remains calm through them. A strong mind says, I knew obstacles would come. I am ready for this. I can control my response. I will not be shaken. Preparedness builds confidence. Confidence builds resilience. Resilience builds inner peace. When you expect difficulties, life stops surprising you. When you train for hardship, hardship transforms you. When you stop wishing for an easy life, you start building the strength to live a powerful one. The Stoics didn't fear adversity. They anticipated it, prepared for it, and used it to elevate their character. This is the Stoic advantage. A mind trained for difficulty is a mind nothing can break. Principle 9, stop wasting energy on what you can't control. If there is one principle that defines all of Stoicism, it is this. Control what you can. Accept what you can't. This idea is simple, but living it transforms your entire life. Epictetus said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Most people suffer because they direct their energy at the wrong targets. They try to control people. They try to control outcomes. They try to control timing, reactions, opinions, and luck. But all these things belong to the external world. A world you can influence but never control. The Stoics teach you to bring your attention back to the only domain that truly belongs to you. Your judgments, your actions, your effort, your behavior, your attitude. Everything else is noise. Step 1, divide everything into 2 categories. Every situation belongs to one side of a simple line. In my control. My choices. My focus. My effort. My reactions. My mindset. My discipline. My character. Not in my control. Other people. Outcomes. Time. The past. The future. Luck. Circumstances. Most people live upside down. They obsess over the second list and ignore the first. A Stoic reverses it. Step 2, withdraw emotional investment from externals. You can care about results without becoming attached to them. You can hope for success without being weakened by failure. You can love and support people without trying to control their behavior. This is not coldness. This is clarity. It is the difference between attachment and responsibility. You are responsible for your actions, not for the world's reactions. Step 3, redirect all energy into what you can do today. Every time you catch yourself worrying, ask, what part of this is actually in my control? If the answer is none, release it. If the answer is some, act on that part and let the rest go. Worrying changes nothing. Action changes everything. Step 4, accept reality without resistance. Acceptance is not weakness. Acceptance is strength. It is saying, I see what is happening. I will not waste energy resisting the inevitable. I will adapt and respond with reason. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you are disturbed by something outside you, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. Your interpretation is the source of your suffering." Step 5. Build a calm center. A person who only focuses on what they control becomes unshakable. People may disappoint you. Events may go wrong. Life may change suddenly. But your inner stability remains intact. You become like a mountain. Unmoved by storms. Steady through chaos. Strong in all seasons. This is the Stoic ideal. A mind that does not bend to circumstances. A character that doesn't collapse under pressure. A heart that stays calm because it depends on nothing external. When you stop wasting energy on what you cannot control, your life becomes lighter, clearer, more focused. Your actions become more effective. Your mind becomes more peaceful. Your stress dissolves. Your strength increases. This is the Stoic secret. You gain power the moment you stop trying to control what is not yours. Principle 10. Live according to your values, not your emotions. The final Stoic principle is the foundation of inner strength. Do not let emotions decide your actions, let your values guide your life. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Stoicism does not tell you to suppress emotions. It teaches you to stop being controlled by them. Emotions are natural. They rise and fall like waves. But your values, your principles, your character, your integrity. These are the things that should determine your decisions. A person guided by emotions is unstable. They react impulsively. They change direction easily. They are pulled by fear, anger, desire, ego, insecurity, and social pressure. But a person guided by values is unshakable. They know who they are. They know what matters. They act with intention, not impulse. This is the Stoic ideal. A life governed by reason, virtue, and moral clarity. Step 1. Define your core values. The Stoics focused on 4 primary virtues. Wisdom, choosing correctly. Courage, doing what is right even when it hurts. Justice, treating others fairly. Temperance, practicing discipline and moderation. These virtues become your compass. When you are unsure what to do, you ask, what does wisdom require? What does courage require? What does justice require? What does discipline require? Not, what do I feel like doing? Step 2. Create distance between emotion and action. Emotions happen instantly. Actions don't need to. A Stoic pauses. They observe the feeling. They let the emotional wave pass. And then, with clarity, they choose their response. This pause is where maturity lives. It is where foolishness ends and wisdom begins. Step 3. Stay true even when it's hard. Anybody can stay disciplined when life is easy. Anybody can be kind when people treat them well. Anybody can stay calm when nothing challenges them. The test of character is simple. Can you remain loyal to your values when emotions rise against you? Can you stay fair when you're angry? Can you stay humble when you're praised? Can you stay disciplined when you're tired? Can you stay honest when it costs you something? This is what separates ordinary people from Stoics. Step 4. Don't trade long-term peace for short-term relief. Anger gives temporary satisfaction. Impulse gives temporary pleasure. Revenge gives temporary relief. Quitting gives temporary comfort. But all of them weaken you in the long run. Acting according to your values gives the opposite. It might feel hard now. But it gives strength, confidence, and inner peace later. The Stoics chose the path that made them stronger. Not the one that made them feel good in the moment. Step 5. Become a person you yourself respect. At the end of the day, the deepest form of peace comes from this one truth. You kept your own word. You acted with integrity. You lived by your principles. You did not betray yourself. Other people's opinions won't matter. Challenges won't shake you. Emotions won't control you. Because your compass is internal. Your foundation is stable. Your character is aligned. This is the Stoic way. A life guided not by emotional storms, but by steady, noble, unchanging values. Conclusion: become the master of your inner world. You have just walked through 10 Stoic principles that have survived thousands of years. Not because they are philosophical ideas, but because they are tools for living, real, practical, unbreakable tools. Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca. These were not ordinary men. They lived through war, exile, betrayal, sickness, and loss. Yet they remained calm, disciplined, and unshaken. Why? Because they understood the truth. You cannot control life, but you can always control yourself. This is the essence of Stoicism. This is the secret to inner power. This is the path to a life that nothing can break. And now, these principles belong to you. You can't choose your external world, but you can build your inner one. The Stoics never promised a life without pain. They promised a mind strong enough to endure it. They never promised a world without chaos. They promised a character disciplined enough to walk through the fire. You cannot stop other people from being who they are. You cannot stop problems from appearing. You cannot stop fate from bringing challenges. But you can choose. Your thoughts. Your actions. Your values. Your focus. Your response. This is where your power lives. This is where freedom begins. True strength comes from within. Modern life teaches you to chase external things. Status, validation, comfort, attention. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. Everything you are looking for is already inside you. Peace is not out there. Clarity is not out there. Resilience is not out there. They grow in you every time you stay calm under pressure. Every time you act by values instead of emotions. Every time you focus on what you control. Every time you rise again after falling. You become stronger, not by avoiding life, but by facing it with wisdom and discipline. A Stoic life is a daily practice. You don't become unshakable in one day. You become unshakable through repetition. Small choices. Small moments. Small acts of self-mastery. Every morning is a chance to practice. Every challenge is a lesson. Every setback is training. Every victory is progress. The Stoics didn't aim for perfection. They aimed for improvement. A little better today than yesterday. This is your path now. Remember this final truth. Life will test you. People will disappoint you. Plans will fail. Emotions will rise. Chaos will appear. But if your mind is disciplined, if your values are clear, if your spirit is trained, then nothing, absolutely nothing, can truly affect you. Because true power is not controlling the world. True power is controlling yourself. This is the Stoic way. This is the path of Epictetus. This is the life you now choose. Hold these principles. Practice them daily. Live them deeply. And you will become a person the world cannot shake.